has managed to get in between both Holgado and Ortola there, and he's all over the rear wheel of the championship leader. I would put a very, very large amount of money on the fact that Mario Aggi is going to have a big look and probably outbrake Danny Holgado into turn 10, as he's done so frequently today. Here he comes, Aggi. No, I've just lost a lot of money. I thought it was guaranteed, but no way through on this time around.
Should have taken you up on that one, Jack. But I tell you what, someone that will be kicking themselves is Joel Kelso. He's down to 16th and about half a second off the back of this lead group of 15. He's going to be absolutely furious starting from the head of the third row, and he's dropped all the way. Dropped a total of 9 places. So Kelso has got work to do if he wants to match that 8th in race 1.
There's an electric pace been set here in the early stages. You can see a lot of riders behind tapping the rear of the bikes, little gaps starting to form of one bike length here, another bike length there. Holgado at the front with Aggi the pole man as well, trying to stretch this out as much as possible. But as things stand, we have got a leading group of 15 all the way back to Josh Watley, with Ortola now hitting the front as they went on the brakes into turn 1. Aggi there in second, as you rightly pointed out, Jack. The TM of David Salvador settling into third.
Yeah, nothing much wrong with the top speed of that TM. Great to see. We know that was one of its weaknesses in years gone by. It just didn't quite have the horsepower of the Honda or the KTM, but it looks as though with a little bit of a slipstream, that TM is fighting up there with the best of them. Once again, Aggi, incredible on the front end into turn 4. He's so confident on that Honda. It really seems that the talent team's got that thing set up perfectly for him. As now we see David Salvador on the TM dive down the inside of Ortola, up into second, and now Holgado's getting busy trying to make a move as well.
But it's very rare that you see this in Moto3 action. It's often so dominated by KTM and Honda, but at the moment we have got a Honda followed by a TM, followed by a KTM, followed by a gas. So 4 different manufacturers as such. Of course, the gas very similar to the KTM machine, if not exactly the same, but still officially 4 different manufacturers in the top 4 in our opening running here. As there goes Rueda, the 95, looking up the inside, but no way through. He's got teammate and race 1 winner Asman for company, as the Malaysian swoops around the outside and holds on to 5th. As I said, this leading group of 15 goes all the way back to Josh Watley on the MTA KTM, who's only 2 seconds adrift, but only picking up 1 point as things stand.
Yeah, madness that you can be 15th, but, you know, only 2 seconds behind. But that's exactly what we've got here. Anyway, they come across the stripe, and it seems as though that TM, well, it gets hooked up pretty well out the corner, down past Mario Aggi and into the lead, and now Ortola's going to give them a go on the brakes as well. Look at this. They're all going to fan out 5, 6 abreast. Who's going to lead into turn 1? Of course, it is going to be Holgado. The championship leader swings through into first.
And there goes Rueda as well into seconds. That's something that we saw so often in the opening race. Rueda is one of the smaller riders, one of the lighter riders out here on the grid, and he was putting that to good use, slipstream his way through, and now he's going to get a brilliant run through turn 3. He was managed to corner that brilliantly there, hold such a tight line as Holgado went wide, and it was an open invitation for the 95 to hit the front for the first time in this one.
Yep, definitely. Good to see Rueda looking very aggressive at the start. We saw in the first race he was just kind of just in the back of the pack a little bit, not really fighting and punching up amongst these top guys, but certainly giving it to him this time. 2 people that will be surging through. Keep an eye out for them. There we go. We pan back to them. The 2 purple bikes. That's David there on the 64, and at the back of that group, the number 17 of Daniel. They will be right up there. Particularly David finished second in the first race. Watch him coming through.
Through turn 9 we go, onto the back straight. Still Rueda that leads the way. Those guys have to be careful of track limits there. He tries to break the slipstream by swinging across to the right-hand side. It doesn't just do the job, though, with 96 Holgado able to make his way through and into the lead.
So then, seems as though it's just starting to... Oh, what a save, Mario Aggi. Picked it up off his elbow, foot off the outside peg, everything. Great stuff from Mario Aggi, the pole sitter, to hold on to that one.
Yeah, I think he was not helped by Ortola steaming up the insides there. That took him by surprise, and I think that forced him to sit up. Aggi, certainly a scare for him now, having the 24 come bundling through at turn 12. Down the start-finish straight we go. Rueda leading the way with the gas of Holgado. Again, another real diminutive rider is Holgado, and the pair of them do hold their own down the start-finish straight. But Aggi got a great drive out of there, helped by a few riders in front, managing to punched quite the hole in the air for him, and he took the invitation quite nicely, although he goes wide there through turn 3. No way through for Salvador, though. Instead, it's an open opportunity for Rueda to move into second. It's swapping and changing lap after lap, corner after corner. This is Junior World Championship action.
I tell you what, Adji is really pushing on here, isn't he? Every time he's got to the front, he's tried to do this, tried to break the pack, and in MOTO3 we know how impossible it is. If you can break them, well, fair play to you. That's an absolutely sterling performance. But it seems as though every time Mario Adji gets to the front, he does this for the first 2 sectors, and then they always catch him back up in the second half of the lap, particularly down into turn 10. As see Rueda, maybe look for a move at turn 9. No, would be brave to do it there, but he'll get into the slipstream and try again once more here, I am sure, although he's already got it done. Adji went a little bit wide there.
You can see Josh Watley in the back of the picture. Leading group now 14. Marco Tapia the 13, the man that has just dropped backwards out of it to make it 14 now. He's doing a good job though, just hanging on though. It looks as though, although they start to bunch up at the back there for whatever reason, and it allows him to latch back onto it. But this is going to go all the way down to the wire. This is a usual Moto3 race. Rueda still leading the way though. He has looked strong throughout the opening race as well. That's good form. Salvador's a little bit of the dark horse in this one. Obviously, we didn't get to see him at all throughout the opening race, crashing out on the opening lap. But so far, he looks strong, and that TM has certainly got a little bit of poke as well. He's able to pull out the slipstream here. Is he going to hit the front into turn 1? We've got the purple Muñozes arriving and coming into the mix as well, as they did in the opening race. But it is Ortola that will lead as they go into the opening corner, with Holgado there just settling into 3rd. And Adji now shuffle back to 4th as he gets up the inside of Josito Garcia. Yeah,
well, speaking of shuffling back, that's certainly what happened to Rueda. Came across the line first and then all the way down to, what is he now, 6th or 7th. So the man that finished on the podium last time out, it's good to see him fighting up at the top, but if he wants to get that 2nd or even 1st in this one, he's going to have to be right at the pack, right at the front of the pack, and make sure he don't get shuffled back just like that as it opens him to attack. There you see David Muñoz on the 64 diving up the inside, and that forces Matsuyama out as well, as we see one of the Aspar boys come through. That may well have been Scott Ogden, the Brit, I think it was. Yes, it was.
Plenty of time though for Rueda. Still 10 laps, 9.5 now remaining. Even if he does get shuffled back, you know, he's going to pick his way through. It'll be interesting to see where he starts from as he come out of the final corner and where he ends up as well. Certainly the case for Holgado as well. He's been shuffled back to 5th now. And you can go all the way back. Look at Takuma Matsuyama and Asman. They're both outside of the top 10 at the moment. But they're well in the mix, as is one of the Muñozes, Daniel Muñoz, who was the man that pushed Adji wide into the turn 10 on the final lap earlier on today. So there's a whole host of names that are just keeping the powder dry at the moment at the back of this pack that you can be guaranteed will be starting to make their way further forward as the laps tick away.
Yeah, and rather uncharacteristically, Daniel Holgado has just been quite quiet in this pack. He's not really done too much. He hasn't progressed forward that much. He hasn't dropped back that much. He's just kind of held a steady kind of 5th or 6th place there. So certainly Holgado not doing anything too outrageous at the moment, just rolling the dice and see how he goes. But there we go, just as I say it, slipstreams all the way through to the lead, and Rueda follows him through.
Well, that's exactly what we predicted, didn't it? Rueda, we said keep your eye on him, 7th out of the final corner, but he finds himself up to 2nd place. You know, as we get towards the closing stages, that's going to be vital. The pair of them, just from weight advantage alone, the pair of them are tiny, tiny riders, both on powerful bikes. Of course, the Aspar, the Estrella Galicia squad, they've been here, done that on a number of occasions. They know how to get those bikes motoring, and it's a perfect combo that sees them pretty quick in a straight line.
We've completely missed the fact that David Real on the number 23 Cuna de Campeones bike has just been shuffled back there, but he's come from 19th. The head of the 7th row of the grid, is that?
Yeah, it will be the same as the both Muñozes as well. They're in the mix as well. They've come through from 17th and 18th, just like they did as well. But that is a great ride from David Real, as you say.
Yeah, so the 7th row of the grid having strong stuff at the moment. Obviously, David Real has been shuffled back a little bit. He was up into 3rd at the end of the straight on this lap, but now back down into 6th place. So we come down to turn 10 then. It seems as though Daniel Holgado, he's just got enough to be able to hold them off for 3/4 of the lap, but once again, it's that all-important slipstream in Moto3 where you can really get the damage done. Someone went wide there at turn 10. Not too sure who that was, but they've certainly lost out on quite a few places.
We'll see as they come across the line who is the biggest loser on this lap here. This being lap 7 of 16. There's going to be 8 laps remaining very shortly, with Holgado and Rueda leading them out of the final corner, with David Munoz there in third at the moment. As they come across the line, who was the big loser there, Jack?
I think it may well have been the race winner, Sairifdin Azman, to slip all the way back to 14th. He's 2.4 seconds off the lead now, so Azman's got a lot of work to do to catch these boys back up and pass them all as well.
It's going to take Malaysian Masterclass Part 2 for Azman to win the race from this position here. As you correctly pointed out there, Jack, you can see him in the back of the picture. Your winner from earlier on today is just out of touching distance of this leading group. Suddenly we're left with 13, the 63. Oh, and Joel Kelso. Disappointment for him after seeing his first. No, sorry, it's not the number 63. It's Matteo Volpi, his teammate. I saw the flash of orange on the helmet and thought that it was Naranjito. Joel Kelso, but it's not. Kelso at the moment finds himself, where does he find him? Well, down in 20.
Kelso, yeah,
that's not where we expected to see him. Maybe just getting tangled up with someone on the opening lap. So surprised to see him all the way down there. Meanwhile, we will keep our eye on that man at the back of the picture there, Saifuriddin Azman, the man that won the race earlier on. This isn't what happened to him. This is just Moto3 madness.
Yeah, standard Moto3 stuff. Pick a line, fellas. Anyone will do. Make sure you brake early enough and swing it through into P1. Oh, my Lord. Tola was very, very close to the rear end of Daniel Holgado there. Holgado braking on the rumble strip as well, as we see them on the transition from 1 to 2, yanking it over from the back. There's a slight gap there between the top kind of 7 or 8. Ogden, and then there's about 3 or 2 tenths back to Matsuyama, but look at that, it's closed right back up once more as we come through to complete another lap.
Keep an eye on Azman in the back of the picture. He's definitely closing in onto this leading group once again, and then once he's there, don't be surprised to see him slowly but surely build his way back through. I don't think it's game over just yet. Certainly made life difficult for himself to have a double victory here today, but it's not game over just yet. As ridiculous as that sounds, been sat in 14th with 7 laps to go. Onto the brakes into the opening corner. It's now turn for the pole man, Mario Aggi, to hit the front, and your pick there, David Real, Jack, is right in amongst it. 4th place for the 14-year-old. He's one of the youngest men on the grid. He was almost thrown into the deep end. Disappointment for the 29, Billy Van Erde, the 2018 Asia Talent Cup champion. He's just had a real disappointing start to the season. He found his feet in 2019 with some podium finishes and even picking up a victory in Aragon in the Red Bull Rookies, but hasn't really been able to transfer that form into the Junior World Championship just yet. But as an Asia Talent Cup champion, a Red Bull Rookies race winner, the form is there, the talent is there. Hopefully it's just a matter of time before we begin to see it. I suppose talking about David Real, as we said, thrown in at the deep end. This is only his 2nd year in the FIM-CV Repsol. He won the Spanish Pre-Moto3 Championship in 2019, then did the European Talent Cup last year, and now straight away promoted into the Junior World Championship, and already is fighting it out at the front. Yeah,
doing very, very well indeed. And if he does manage to hang on to a top 5 finishing position here, as he is running 5th at the moment, it would certainly be his best result by quite some ways. He just pushes Garcia out wide there, although Garcia may well have just wiped his nose. Yes, he has. So certainly not being let off in terms of the Argy-Bargy, and David Real in 5th. If he does manage to hold on, as I say, his PB before is 9th, so certainly a good ride coming in from the youngster.
Yeah, great ride, and surely more to come from the Cunha de Campione squad. They've already had delight today in the European Talent Cup with Chabis with 2 for taking victory. Will they have another victory here? Long way to go though. 6 laps remaining, and it's Aggi that leads the way on the run down to turn 1, but unsurprisingly he gets swamped with Munoz, with Garcia, with Rueda, Ortola and the rest all making the way through. But Aggi, despite looking 2nd best on the brakes into there, we've seen on a number of occasions already how strong he is when he has to get the anchors on, and he manages to salvage 2nd and will actually retake the lead with Rueda just running wide. No, the 95 holds on the run up to turn 4.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the big weapons in his arsenal, isn't it? He's fantastic on the brakes, just seems to, well, pull on that lever like no one else and just let it go and run it into the turn. Loads of corner speed, fantastic confidence in the front end. Really, really good to see, and fantastic for him when it comes down to these last few laps. We know how confidence inspiring those final few right-handers are, you certainly got to be good on the front end, and that is Clement Rouge, unfortunately, pulling into the pits. That's a shame for him as he pulled out on the Leglise Academy bike.
Not too far to travel for him from the south of France. He'll be across the border tonight and back home. At least there's a crumb of comfort there for him. Looking at this leading group, though, Jack, we've kind of gone unnoticed that the 96 Holgado is just getting a little bit bogged down. He's not, in fact, the leading Aspar man with David Alonso, the reigning European Talent Cup champion, coming into the mix.
Oh, that was really, really close. Oh, 33, that's beware. That's a shame. And Lunetta as well. That's very, very unfortunate. Those two guys were running just outside the points. They missed the boat on the lead group getting away, so it was going to be very difficult for them to catch up and get into the top 15. But such a shame for those two, particularly Bouazri after his stunning ride in race 1. But back to the front then as we cross the stripe. 5 laps to go. It's crunch time, Jack. Certainly one of these lot is going to win it, but as you say, I mean, it's this top group of, what is it now? It's still top group of 14. It could be any one of these guys.
And gone unnoticed. Look in the back of the picture, the 84 of Zonta van den Gorberg. A good run coming from him to almost attach himself onto this leading group, as it is a good run coming from Sho Nishimura as well, the number 57. This is a great performance from the man that won the Asia Talent Cup in 2019. Ahead of him, of course, is Takuma Matsuyama. Maybe, I think it's probably fair to say that the crash earlier on today having an effect on Matsuyama. It's not the same performance we saw from earlier on, as it's getting tight at the top now. Ortola still leads the way with Adji there in seconds, but they're all fighting over track position as Munoz looks to the inside. There goes David Munoz, the 64, up the inside into third ahead of Garcia. As you say, Jack, it's crunch time now, and they're all fighting over track position and the tiniest bits of tarmac. There goes Rueda up the inside at turn 7 on Garcia. No. The 658 man holds on to 4th place. And it's starting now where we need to be having a look at who's got the best run from turn 9 into turn 10. This is the real action zone. This is where we're going to be focusing on the final lap. It's where Adji got beaten up on the first race, and they'll be looking to do this to the man in front as we get to the final lap. Again, he looks so strong on the brakes, does Adji?
Yeah, he does, but you see there, Ortola was pretty... there's a couple of people down the gravel there, was there? Or was I tricked?
Oh, yeah, there is. There's a few men gone down. Let's have a look at turn 10. Who's falling down the order here? Because it's come from the leading group. We won't find out until they come across the line. Let's see. Have we got the World Championship leader still in there? We do. Holgado's still there. Here we go. Here's a chance to see. Oh, and it is. It's Asman. Asman's gone down. Your race leader race winner, from earlier on today has crashed out. There's confirmation. Saifuruddin Asman crashes out. Delight this morning, disaster this afternoon for the Malaysian, and there's a few other caught up.
It's Sho Nishimura and also David Real, so that charge through from 19th on the grid comes to nothing. That's such a shame. So 3 riders go missing at turn 10 then. Glad to see that they're all up and walking away. We do hope they're all okay, not picked up any small injuries or anything. There you can see the bikes being wheeled off by the marshals. Thank you very much, fellas, making the circuit safe once more. To you, get it through the gap. There we go. And speaking of get it through the gap, who's that coming through? Is that David? It may well be David Munoz. Yes, it is. Oh, that was very close. Adji had to take avoiding action there as we see the TM Knight diving up the inside, up into second. Big barge. Hiroshi Oyama doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, me and you both, Hiroshi. That was getting pretty tight there as they went through turn 5. In the end, out of the scrummage pops Josito Garcia, the 658 Squadra Corsa man. And if anything, he's managed to cash in on the little bit of bunching and barging behind. Oh, what a save from Garcia through turn 9, one of the fastest parts of the circuit. The front end let go, but somehow he holds on to it. What a save from Garcia, but that allowed Salvador to hit the front. Please, can we see a replay of that? But he's not bothered. He's straight back in amongst it, getting up the inside of David Alonso.
Yeah, straight back to business. What an incredible save. I was just about to say that he hasn't won a race since he won his first one at Jerez in 2020. And it looked as though he's got the perfect chance for it now. But it looks as though it may well be all thrown away with that, unless he can make... What is he got to make now? He's got to make 10 manoeuvres to get back up to P1. So certainly work cut out for him. But 3 laps to go. Anything can happen, and he may well be back at the front in 2 laps' time.
What a save that was. You don't want to have a moment anywhere else on the circuit apart from, well, turn 9 is the worst place possible. Such a fast right-hander and the front end let go. Somehow he saved it, but as you can see, he's right back into the fight at the back of the pack. At the front, though, it's Ortola that's taken over at the front from David Munoz, from Rueda, from the championship leader Holgado. We've not mentioned his name for a number of laps. He's been keeping rather quiet and out of trouble so far. Maybe this is the time for the Gas man to pounce.
Yeah, it certainly may well be. And also another man that's starting to look a little bit busy is the number 17 of Daniel Munoz. He's just barged the TM out of the way, so I think he's now up into 6th place. Yes, he is. Watch out for him, because we know he loves a good minute. Oh!
Big crash.
Oh, whoa!
And that's Adji that's gone down. It's Garcia that's gone down. And it's Daniel Munoz, sorry, as well. It was Garcia. The rear end let go at him on the brakes into turn 5. And unfortunately, the riders in front had absolutely no idea what was about to come, with a 658 Honda taking the pair of them out. And Mario Adji has been wiped out, as has Daniel Munoz as well, after the incident with Josito Garcia. An afternoon to forget for the Indonesian. A first ever pole position, but an incident coming into turn 10 on the opening race saw him finish 6th, and now he's been wiped out in race 2.
What a shame. 3 of the guys that were really starting to get going in this series, and they've just been wiped out in very, very unfortunate circumstances. No malicious intent whatsoever. Just Jose Julian Garcia overcooked it a little bit on the way into turn 6. There you can see the bikes all being wheeled off. We hope the riders are all okay. We'll hope we see a shot of them all walking off.
Adji.
Of course, Mario Adji absolutely distraught. Oh, such a shame for Mario Adji, starting from pole position.
Here we go.
And
Take a look at
happens.
Garcia in the back of the picture. Garcia, the rear end lets go on him. It's what a funny crash to go down like that.
Mario Adji is so lucky that that 658 Honda doesn't come down on him there as well. So incredibly lucky in terrible circumstances. Hiroshi Oyama, of course, annoyed. And there we see Josito. I'm sure he's going to go over and apologise to the fellas as well, but a good race comes to an end for him as well.
And now suddenly we've got 2 laps to go, and it's Ortola that leads the way from Holgado and Munoz. Only David Munoz, of course, now in the running with Daniel, having been taken out in the incident 1 lap ago right here. Let's hope all of the guys can make it through safe and sound this time around. Ortola still leads the way from Holgado, from Munoz. Rueda in there as well. Yellow flag still waving, which is why we saw the marshals in the gravel trap and nobody making a move, as Holgado just